Aloha Jivas, welcome to our reading of Bhagavad Gita as it is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. We are at chapter 2 and we're starting with text 63, but real quick I'm going to repeat text 62 where Krishna is explaining basically detachment from emotional responses to external material stimuli, like whatever, basically having that equanimity, not being attached to an outcome, because what he says, text 62 was, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. So here's text 63. Krodad bhavati samoha samohat smriti vibramaha smriti brahmashad buddhi nasho buddhi nashat pranasyati. From anger delusion arises, and from delusion bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. I was just listening to Tony Robbins recently, and he has this term, I don't know if it's his or what, but he calls it emotional stacking. So that's what this is kind of describing, like when one especially negative emotion leads to another, where you build something up and it becomes like totally mental, and you build up this whole story around it. And so basically what Krishna is saying, when intelligence is lost, or like your memory is bewildered, so like something happens and it like gets you upset, and then over time you're like, you can't stop thinking about it, and then like you create this whole story of like, what happened, like this memory that doesn't escape you, and it just gets bigger and bigger, and then is what he's saying is intelligence is lost. So you've lost perspective, like you're only just focusing, you're attached so much to this story or version of something that happened to you that you've really lost sight of the bigger picture. You're losing a more intelligent way of looking at something and reacting to something, because you're so attached to whatever it is that you are. You've become also attached to this emotion in reaction to it. So let's hear Prabhupada's purport. By development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. Those who are without knowledge of Krishna consciousness artificially try to avoid material objects, and as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain to the perfect stage of renunciation. On the other hand, a person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord. Therefore, he does not become a victim of material consciousness. For example, an impersonalist, the Lord or the Absolute, being impersonal, cannot eat. Whereas an impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables, a devotee knows that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and that he eats all that is offered to him in devotion. So, after offering good eatables to the Lord, the devotee takes the remnants called prasadam. Thus, everything becomes spiritualized, and there is no danger of a downfall. The devotee takes prasadam in Krishna consciousness, whereas the non-devotee rejects it as material. The impersonalist, therefore, cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation, and for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul, even though rising up to the point of liberation, falls down again due to his not having support in devotional service. So this is also talking about a false renunciation. So like, you know, starving yourself, basically, for example, thinking, you know, for some spiritual outcome is an impersonalist perspective, whereas in Krishna consciousness, where we develop a personal and intimate relationship with God, we take the food, we offer it to God with love, because God doesn't need food, right? God is fully self-sustainable, but it's the love that's offered with the food that is really what is imbibed by the Lord. And so then that is like a sacrament. It's like becoming sanctified, and then because God has accepted it and touched it, then that is no longer considered regular food. It's prasadam that we honor or we take, and it's actually a devotional service by offering food and then taking the remnants of that prasadam is a purification process as well. So we're not denying ourselves food, but we're dovetailing the act of eating in devotional service, so that it isn't just a mundane material task or action, which those actions that we do without a reverence, without offering in service to God, then becomes karmic. And so to avoid that karmic response, we dovetail our actions in a spiritual devotional offering. Okay, text 64. Rag dvesha vimukhtaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atma vaishyar vidheyatma prasadam adiya gacchati. One who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord, and thus become free from all attachment and aversion. Purport. It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of a fall. Although the person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable, and if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or not to act is within his control, because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform. Text 65. Prashade sarva dukkanam hanir asyo pajayate prashana chataso hyasu buddhi haparyavatishtate. Translation. For one who is so situated in the divine consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such a happy state, one's intelligence soon becomes steady. Okay, so I'm going to end there. I don't know if you guys saw the reel that I made yesterday, but I read a couple of verses from the Gita over a video when I was at the beach, but those verses I'll be reading tomorrow. Okay, they're coming up tomorrow. I'll be reading them again, but with the purport this time. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I look forward to another day of reading Gita with y'all. Have an awesome day. Hare Krishna.